The first thing I can really say about this car is it's going to be a problem driving it, because times when you need to accelerate quite rapidly, for example joining the flow of traffic on a busy roundabout, a large roundabout, or overtaking a lorry on a motorway, this vehicle is not going to be able or capable to deal with that. It's so slow to pull off. It's mind-numbing. There's just no acceleration at all. I'm not even going to do a 0 to 60 test in this car, because there's nowhere on the roads that I'd be able to attain that speed in this vehicle. It is dangerously sluggish, and that is a serious flaw with this car, because it makes it less drivable. It's very cumbersome to drive. The steering is heavy, and as you steer the car, the front end of the car, it doesn't really feel like you're connecting with the car properly at all. It's almost like you're in a big steel barge or a boat that's out of water, and someone stuck it on a trailer with a steering wheel. It doesn't feel like there's any harmony between the steering and the car itself at all. It's very high up, it's very bulky, and if you give the car a little wiggle like this, it's all over the place. Now, we quite expect the French cars to be a little bit quirky, but there's nothing about this car that works in synchronization either. As I'm using the pedals now, because it is a manual, 5-speed manual, the clutch is heavy, the brakes feel like they're pushing my foot away as I'm pushing it down. I mean, they'll do that anyway, but doing it to a big degree. It's like treading on a spring. It's a very strange car. Now, the rear view vision of this car is rather good. There's a lot to be seen through the mirror. The only annoying part about it is it has a seatbelt hanging down, which can be very distracting. See, I'm pulling away at first now, and the car just won't move. And you know, if there was traffic coming towards me, I think they'd plough into the side of me, because any other car I'd be up and going and moving in the flow of the traffic. So this car, in my mind, is dangerous. The steering is heavy, the brakes are heavy, the clutch is heavy. It's hard to drive, it's uncomfortable to drive. There's absolutely nothing about this car at all that I can say is good or pleasant. I think this is actually going to qualify to be one of the worst cars that I've ever driven in my entire career. But I would endeavour to find something which is positive about it. The seats are rather comfy, they're nice and big and spongy, and the rear view vision's good, but the side vision isn't. The tiny little wing mirrors here, they're too low down, they're too small. You've got to physically twist your head to look at them rather than just be able to glance. Okay, the heating controls for the inside, very simple, very basic. There'd be no trouble operating those whilst you're driving down the road. That's a bonus. The gear stick is in a good location, but as I go around this roundabout now, the car leans all over the place, and I try to pull away, and my God, we're just not going anywhere. Believe me when I say this, if you're thinking about buying one of these cars, I think it'd probably be the worst decision you'd ever make along those lines. You do not want one of these cars. They are dreadful. I have probably driven several thousand cars in the last 10 years, and I have to confess that this car, without a shadow of doubt, is the worst car that I've ever driven in my life. It is absolutely awful.